I think the takeaway would be, you've got to find ways of speeding up the whole process, but you have, got to also manage the risk. And the only way to do that is through modelling. And I think, I don't know whether supply chain people do modelling. I know on the front end, it's still an exception that we do model from the manufacturing location downstream. But I think we've got to start building what I call ready to run models. Because quite frankly, in difficult times, S&OP and the usual forecasting techniques that one uses are useless. So I'd be saying to them, embrace the technologies of modelling, optimization modelling, and model back upstream to your suppliers, and start running models to not only to for normal sort of normal times, but you can start managing risk that way. For instance, if you take a look at Simke Levy's work at MIT, he uses modelling to work out the time to recover. So you can start modelling things and say, what if I took out a supplier here or a DC there? What would it do and how long would it take me to recover and what would the cost be? So forget about all this idea of trying to work out probabilities of when the next black swan's coming. Just have models ready to use. And so I think that's the sort of thing I'd be doing. A lot more analytics, getting involved in building analytics capabilities in companies where the procurement person is involved with supply chain person, with commercial. They're talking about this all the time and running models and making judgments about what they should do. Finally, I'd be arguing that the bigger companies ought to be building a control tower that looks both upstream and downstream, and procurement people should be putting up their hands to be part of that control tower. So you'd have a procurement person inside the control tower interacting directly with what's happening on orders, and then they would be linked back to the procurement function if anything needed to be done. So in other words, I think the answer is to get the procurement function much more heavily involved in the overall supply chain, because guess what? 65% of the working capital in the supply chain is most of it is procurement. So there's a lot to work with.